Hey guys, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. We are just going to do a quick hip mobility and glute activation routine right now. This is going to be about 15 or 20 minutes long, and yeah, you just need your mat. So come on down to your mat and we'll get started. So we're going to start just sitting on your mat here, hands down by your sides, and we're going to do some sitting windshield wiper. So letting the knees go left and right. So we're working on waking up the glutes, and we're also working on getting those hips a little more mobile. So tight hips usually equal tight or weak glutes, and vice versa. So we want to kind of work both of those parts of the body so that we can improve our performance for running, for biking, really use your glutes for everything. But also if you are sitting a lot, then your glutes get a little bit lazy as we're not using them, and then that can kind of transfer over to like getting injured. So this is a little bit of prehab for that, so prevention. So keep going from side to side. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Okay, so now we are going to go into a kneeling position, and you can grab a block and I'll just show you what that looks like for this. So the left knee is going to be kneeling, or left knee is going to be bent, and the right knee is going to be bent back behind you. And I'm sitting on a block so that the right heel is on the outside of my right hip. So I might just kind of move closer off the mat so that you can see what that looks like. So sitting like so. And then we're going to reach forward and round. And then we're going to come back and open up the chest. And then we're going to come forward and round. And then we're going to come back and open up the chest. You can double up the block, so you can go higher here. If you don't have a block, you can kind of sit on something else that's taller if you have issues with your knee bending back in this much flexion. Okay, and now we're going to straighten the leg out, so that left leg is out, right knee, so you're kind of in a hurdler stretch, and then we're going to come forward, just holding that a little bit longer, foot flex, that left foot is flexed, and then coming back and opening up the chest here. And if you feel free to release this block, so you can just kind of sit on the floor for this, and you're kind of in that half thunderbolt pose. So you can even lie down if your knee doesn't feel like there's any pain there in the knee joint as well. So we want to target this the quadricep muscle on the right leg and kind of stretch it out. Because what happens is there's an your glutes kind of take over. They overact in a lot of exercises that we do, so running, walking, and then so the glutes don't have to work so much. So what we want to do is just kind of release them, stretch them out, and then we can get into some more glute activation. And we're going to switch sides from there. So we're going to again just kind of sit on the block. I recommend sitting on the block for this so that you can kind of bring the heel on the outside of your hip. Otherwise you'd be sitting on your heel, which is also possible if you just like to sit on your heel for this position as well. But it's a little bit harder to kind of do the reach forward and pull back. So I'm reaching forward, and then we're gonna lift back. Reaching forward, and then coming back, and reaching forward, and again, that's kind of, it's nice to have that bent knee like that because it's kind of a half squat as well. So we're getting a good stretch in the hip. So right leg straight forward, you're in the hurdler stretch, and then we're going to reach forward. So you can, by all means, if you can grab your toes and grab onto your toes, you should feel like a big hamstring stretch as well if you're propped up like I am on the block. And then we're going to come back. Okay, and then again, you can kind of take that block from underneath you. If you want to, you can lay all the way back in to that half thunderbolt position as well. So that would be, you can go on forearms if you like, or you can lay all the way on your back. Just holding for another couple more moments here. Okay, and then we're gonna release. So just rock over to one side, swing the legs around again, come back on to your mat if you are off your mat, and then do a couple more windshield wipers. Okay, now we're gonna get into some glute activation here. So come around onto tabletop position, and maybe I'll just come off the mat here for a moment just so you can see tabletop, so on all fours. We're going to lift the right leg, left leg, sorry, back behind, and then bring the knee in. Bring it back behind you, and then bring it in. Reach back, and bring it in, and then release down, and then switching sides. Bring it back, bring it in, reach back, bring it in. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Okay, bring it back down, and now we're going to go left leg out to the side. So you're going to keep the knee bent. Try not to bring the foot above your knee. Try to keep the knee in level with your ankle, so as best as you can. And then try not to lean way over to the other side. That's not going to do much for your hip mobility. We're working on strengthening glute medius here. So we're bringing the knee out to the side, and then bring it back in. And then again, we're going to do another hold out to the side. Try to stay as level as possible while you're doing this. So even if your knee is down here, and that's as much mobility as you can muster, that is fine. You don't have to lift your knee way out to the side, because if you're doing that, that's not going to do much for strengthening the glute medius. We want to bring it just kind of level, and again, check out your foot. It's level with your knee. It's not above your knee. You're not twisting it in any kind of weird way. Bring it back down. Let's go to the other side. So we're gonna take the knee back and then just out to the side. And you'll feel maybe one hip is a little more flexible than the other, but again, you don't want to be kind of doing, going way over, leaning over to the left side, which is very easy to do. Try to keep your whole body level. So check out your foot in line with your knee. Gaze down if possible, and you'll feel like your glutes are on fire as well. And that's a good thing. And then bring it down, just take a moment to rest that, and then switching sides. So straight out to the right there. Check out your foot in line with your knee. Keep holding, keep breathing. And I know it's going to feel crampy, and that's kind of a normal thing. It's a normal feeling to feel. So it might feel like you're doing it wrong, but the cramping is actually kind of a good thing sometimes. And then bring it down. Woo! Okay, so going over back to the left side, we're going to take the leg out to the center or out to the side like that fire hydrant, and then we're going to bring it in, and then in towards the chest. And then we're going to straighten the leg out, bend the knee, bring it out, in, and then up, and then straight back. And then we're just going to keep doing that. Bring it down, out, in, up into your chest, and then straight back out. Down, out, in, and then up, and then straight back out. Let's see that one more time. So down, out, fire hydrant, down to center, up in towards your chest. You're gonna round your back, and then straight back. Let's just hold that straight back position. Try to lift that leg nice and high. Think about your inner thigh rolling up towards the ceiling. So you're gonna visualize your inner thigh and roll it up. One more breath, and bring it down. Going to the other side. Whew. Okay, so the leg is gonna go out, right leg, and then down, and then in. So hug in, straight back. Down, out to the side, bring it back down, straight up, straight back, kick back. Bring it down, fire hydrant, bring it down, hug, out. Keep moving, bring it back down, woo, out to the side, bring it back down, hop, and then straight back. Let's do one more time. Bring it back down, woo, out, up and in, and then out. Okay, now holding that straight back behind you, just breathing into it. Visualize your inner right thigh rolling up towards the ceiling. So think of that, that'll just help you point your knee straight down as opposed to doing this weird thing, which is what your body will want to do. So point the knee straight down, rolling the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. A little bit higher, and then releasing down. Okay, so just a quick stretch before we do more glute activation. So that should feel like something. Going into a squat. So again, hip mobility and stretching the glutes. So as best as you can use your hands on the floor. Maybe you're just here. Maybe you kind of just need to sit on a couple blocks and just having some sort of deep squat just so that you feel that in your hip flexors. Sink back, breathe into it. Take another deep breath in and out. Okay, so next one, we're gonna come onto the ground and do a little bit of glute bridging. So come onto your back. Feet are hip distance apart, knees are bent. So what we're gonna do is lift the hips and then lift the right knee is bent, and see if you can grab onto the right knee. So this may be a little bit tricky for some of you. You're trying to pull that right knee in towards your chest. And this glute on that left side should feel like it is activating. So it is, the muscles feel like they are contracting. That's a good thing. And you're also stretching your hip at the same time. And then you can release down. And then we'll do that on the other side. So go ahead and lift your hips. And then we're going to bring that left knee in, and then see if you can lift your hands up onto the kneecap, onto the left kneecap, and draw in. So you're not trying to force anything to happen, like your knee pulling in towards your chest. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're just trying to feel some activation on your right side, which is probably what's going to happen. Okay, take another deep breath in, and then you can release down. And then we're just going to do some marching from there. So elbows onto the ground, your hands can be up. So we're going to lift the hips up into that glute, and then we're just going to pull knee in after knee in, alternating knees. Okay, and just nice and slow. Just notice if there's one hip that feels a little tighter than the other, and just kind of being aware of that, aware of how your glutes are feeling. one more on each side. All right, and then release down. So hit back onto the floor and then give yourself a hug. So this is happy baby pose. You can rock from side to side. Knees are nice and wide. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. All right, so I have one more for you guys. So bridge is kind of a classic glute activation pose. But if you have trouble, so in just regular bridge, pointing your knees forward, lifting up, you don't really feel much, or you feel like your hamstrings are on fire mostly, and your low back kind of takes over, then we're going to do this instead. So it's a butterfly bridge. You're going to bring your feet together. Not all the way together here, it can just on the outer edges of your feet. So soles of the feet together, knees are wide, and then we'll go into bridge. So lifting up from there, so frog bridge or butterfly bridge, and we're going to just roll up onto the shoulders and squeeze like heck. Okay, so we want to feel these glute medius, so the outer glutes here on the sides of your hip, they are working a lot more, and you'll feel that. And then we'll do a quick normal bridge, regular bridge after this, and then maybe you can see if anything changes. So this is kind of just a good way to kind of get you aware, create that mind-muscle connection, and then when you go back into a regular bridge, then you can maybe see how that changes, or maybe it just kind of something clicks in your body where you can activate your glutes a little more efficiently in your regular bridge. So keep holding this pose. Get your feet are kind of pressing together, and you're pressing down into the outer edges of your feet. Your knees are wide. Breathing, chin away from your chest a little bit, just to create some space in your throat. Let's take another deep breath in, and then you can exhale, release down. So just take a moment, soles of the feet flat onto the floor, the knees pointing up. Just take a moment to breathe into that space there, and then we'll just do a regular bridge just to see. So go ahead and lift the hips up, and you want to think about squeezing the glutes. So now that you know what your outer hips feel like, maybe you can tap into the glute maximus as well as you squeeze up, and maybe you'll have less hamstring overtaking or your low back overtaking. You'll still feel it in your hamstrings and low back, but we don't want those to be the only things that are feeling this position. So again, you're just taking another deep breath in, and then you can exhale all the way down. So just ending off here, do windshield wipers laying down. So we're just going to rock from side to side, and this is just using your body weight to kind of act like rolling. If you have foam roller at home, that's another good way to activate your glutes here. I may just do another video just on that, because there's a whole bunch of information in foam rolling, but this could be just as effective. So you're rolling from side to side, massaging out the glutes, and again, just kind of getting the blood flowing. And you can hold your knees off to one side or the other. So when you're ready there, you can just come on up, and or you can just keep moving onto the floor as you were here. But it's just a short video today, and yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. And there's another video up to follow right after this coming up for power yoga. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time on the interwebs. Bye. If I can finish this.